You're an alcoholic. Yeah.
I was just thinking
I'm up.
I'll let Matt settle.
All right, let's say,
Are you good? You good? Okay, November 5th, 8 a.m., call to order the Finance Committee meeting. Yeah, call a roll. I always
Carol?
forget to
Yes.
tell you to do it.
Harris?
yes.
Hoffenberger?
Yes. So the meeting today is mostly just to talk about some items. We don't necessarily have any suggested actions. So, but they're items that need to be talked about. So our first item on the agenda is a discussion of pay and benefit cost. Jennifer, do you want to get us started on this?
Sure. So what's included in the packet is actually our entire 26 payroll budget. That includes current employees, raises, the 27th pay, the increased health insurance cost, and then the proposed 13 new or vacant positions. So the first page in the packet, you'll see we have 152 full-time equivalent employees, and then those are actually full-time employees. And then the next page is just the employees separated out by department code. And this is all from OpenGov, so I was really excited to be able to.
Okay, to use it?
Yeah, use it. Yeah, believe me, I have been using it. And then the next page is just a comparison of our wages through pay 22 currently, and then annualized out through the rest of the year where I think we'll end up. And then compared to the 26 estimated with all the factors that I just mentioned a few minutes ago, and then the difference. And then a rough reconciliation, obviously not down to the penny, but that totals about $4 million reconciling the difference. And it's challenging because, we have employees that are, in OP&F or PERS, and that rate's different. The overtime is a lot different. The raises are different between 2 and 4%, depending on what bargaining unit or employee ordinance that they're in. And then as our workers' comp premiums increase too, because it's based on wages. So that's in there, the new hires, health insurance, employer portion. And then there's a lot of, there's some estimates as far as like our part-time employees, overtime, that sort of thing too. So, but everybody will get a 27th pay in 26, so. The next page is then our total wage and benefit cost with all those factors. That's per fund to see how it impacts the individual funds. Okay. And then,
I'm sorry, Jennifer, where were you? I was writing something.
so I just finished talking about the Excel spreadsheet, this one.
Right.
And then the next page is the cost per fund.
Oh, yeah, I think it's
The pie chart,
horizontal pie chart.
the pie chart.
Oh, thank you.
With the 23 million, and then it's split out between the general fund, fire, sewer, water, and income tax, A. And then the other ones are not highlighted because they are smaller, but, and then the next page is the vacancies. It's 2.1 million. So those are the proposed 13 positions that we talked about, and they're listed out on the next page. And
Can I ask a question? I'm sorry. I want to
No, that's
interrupt
okay.
your flow, but,
That's
so when I saw this vacant, and this is something that I've been thinking about when we keep talking about, whether we have money or not to hire people or, whatever. Do we have it broke down, the difference in proposed, like, kind of new positions and positions that they should have been, they were filled before, they should have been filled in the past, like, year or two, haven't been filled. So essentially, there should be a butt in the seat, but there's not for whatever reason. Like, is there kind of like a breakdown, the difference in that? Because I guess I see that as two different things. Like, what were we working on before and should have someone there?
Yeah.
And what are like proposed new? So like, we've talked about fire needing to get to a certain number. Obviously that's new, like
Yeah.
different than what it was before.
Yeah, so the breakdown is on the next page then.
Okay.
The same 2.1 million. So we are holding a vacant position for sewer right now. We think we'll fill that in March. We're kind of evaluating staff.
Is that one that we added for the sewer program, like knowing what the sewer program's going to be?
Yeah, it is one that we added for the sewer program. It was somebody that actually left the city in like September, so we just held that.
Oh,
that
okay, so
wage.
not, I mean,
Yeah, so new, but not necessarily.
But
new.
not,
Yeah.
okay.
So it's vacant.
To my recollection, weren't we supposed to hire 5 people for sewer?
I think we did, yeah.
Okay, so we've
I don't
currently
know where
held
we're at
four
right now
and-
because we have a lot of transfers, so we just posted the water positions and 2 sewer guys want to transfer over there.
Right, so we did fill all 5, and then we had a termination, and we had a couple of transfers. So right now, there's a couple of open transfer spots that I currently have posted per the union contract. But then, once those 2 spots are filled, we'll still have that one void that we're gonna kind of hold off and see what the needs are when it comes springtime. Just because winter work tends to be a little bit trickier for the staff, and I've spoken with all 3 of the sewer supervisors, and they all agreed to just kind of hold off on hiring that other person for now.
Okay.
And to piggyback on that, with the sewer program, we keep talking about how it is, we're still building it. We still are working through the bugs and how it's going to, what our staffing and equipment needs are going to be, and financing long-term. We have the estimates, but still need to have those projects start coming in to see what the actual cost is going to be. So I would say it's fluid.
well, and just to see how, like, the workload's going to
Exactly,
pan
yeah.
out too,
Yeah, for sure. Yep.
until we're doing it. Okay.
Yeah. The next position is actually under my department. This is replacing Corey, that's moved over to sewer to help with their administrative, sewer and service to help with their administrative tasks. The administrative floater position really helps with, I view that position as succession planning too, to get into like utility billing, to help with, tax scanning a little bit, accounts payable, payroll, help me with administrative tasks as well. But it's a really good starting position for somebody to really learn the very basics, and there's certainly room for growth in that position for, like I said, succession planning. The next is the administrator position, safety, and that's budgeted. So all but the operator for sewer and the clerk for tax is budgeted for all year, just let you know. So then the water operator positions, like I said, Matt's posting for those right now. Those are 2 positions there, and those are positions that needed to be filled that have been vacant for a while. And
Right.
so you're filling a void there.
Yeah, and those have actually been filled. Those were transfers. That's why I now have
Yeah.
2 openings in sewer.
Wait, you said the water operator, that line item?
Yes,
I'm
those
sorry.
2. So
Yeah.
but they're not in the water budget right now, so that's why they're listed here as vacancy. But 2 patrol officers, and those positions have been vacant or unfilled, I'll say, for years. The minimum number of staffing that's ideal for Chief Sproul, and the mayor supported this as well, is 39. And then obviously the HR manager, and then the proposal of 5 firefighter paramedics, and then the urban planning position, and then the clerk for tax. That's another position that was eliminated several years ago. So, and it's similar to what we've discussed before, that if we don't have those like administrator or administration roles to do those day-to-day tasks, then the managers and supervisors aren't able to focus on those bigger pictures. Like in this scenario for tax, the manager would look at more non-filers and pursue new businesses that haven't registered yet. So there is a financial benefit to filling that position too.
So the clerk helps take over some of the day-to-day to allow the manager to better be able to look for things that are not getting done, essentially, like
Exactly.
people who haven't filed, or
Yes, yeah. Mhm.
to keep up on that.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have a question for the city administrator safety. That number seems very large.
Yes, so it's all the pay and benefits rolled up. So it's the PERS
That's what I
and
wondered.
Medicare match,
Okay.
the insurance is in there.
Okay.
And
I'm assuming that's the same with all the other positions as well.
yes.
That's what I was going to ask,
Yeah, and
too.
most of these, we, for budgeting purposes, selected like the middle range. Because we could have people coming in at, the lowest range or the top range, so that's,
Yeah, I kind of wondered about that, okay.
yeah.
It's a guesstimate
Right,
Yeah.
yeah,
based on areas.
yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it's a reasonable guesstimate. So this is substantially, I will say, higher than when I had sent out the estimated cost on a low range and a high range for these 13 open positions. If you recall, the low range was 1.4 million, the high range 1.9 million. And that was before we had our health insurance come through, which is much higher than we anticipated.
So is that why it's 2.1 now? Because of the,
Yeah, that's a large part of it, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that, as I said in that first analysis, there was other things in there that I hadn't included, workers' comp, life insurance, that sort of thing. So, but I
Right.
wanted to make sure to get those numbers out to council so they understood the impact of the new hires and how that impacts funds and funding sources.
okay.
So the next document then in the packet is the health insurance renewal summary, and I provided the historical information back to 22, only looking at HSAs because we only offer HSA now. And back in 22, we offered the PPO and HSA. So in 22, there was no premium for the HSA. And then the current enrollment number, that is as of 2 weeks ago, that was the enrollment. And so we offer 2 tiers, single and family. And the premium is then calculated, and you can read my narrative, but it's calculated based on fixed cost that we receive, and that's, the stop-loss premium, the prescription amount, the vision, dental, those fixed costs every single month, which is, I think about, it's listed below, $200 for single and then $363 for family. And then the estimated claims, that's the big variable every year. So in '24, our claims were lower than anticipated, which was fantastic. But now in '25, they've been higher than.
Is that how the single amount went down? Like, so 2024 says 1428, 2025 it says
Yeah, it
1293.
actually went down. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
but then
so-
how did it not go down for family?
Because there's caps in place in '24. And so if there was no cap in place, it would have been a similar trend. So single did not reach that cap in '24, whereas family did.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yep. So there is no cap on the employee share of the premium, which makes employees nervous. So that's how it's calculated, fixed cost and estimated claims, and then it's essentially divided into the number of participants, so not employees, but participants. So like for single, it's 41, but then for family, there's over 200, I don't have that in front of me, but over 200 members on the plan. So then the next box there is how I determine, or the breakdown of the premium. And then the next box is the history of the HSA contribution. You'll notice I left 26 blank, but for budgeting purposes, I kept it the same. And then the health insurance waiver, I also kept that the same for budgeting purposes. So there's 2 ways that employees get the health insurance waiver. Either they're a single person and their whole family's not on the policy, or a family that completely waives it. So, and I have the narrative there, a partial waiver if the spouse and or children are on another plan, and then the full waiver. So like the single, like we have some younger people employed that are on their parents' plan, so they're actually getting the waiver stipend for that. Or we have an employee where they're, like I said, their spouse is not on our plan, so they get the single stipend waiver. Okay. And then the narrative, I have a little box there about the new hires, cost, health insurance. And again, it's a range, it's an estimate, you know, who knows, either they're going to be single, family, or get a waiver. Health insurance fund balance, I just wanted to bring this up. The goal of that fund, so we have a separate fund for health insurance, Fund 777, that receives its revenue through employee withholdings, and then the employer share of health insurance, and it's charged back to the departments. That's how it receives its revenue. And then the expenses are the fixed costs, and then the claims that we receive. And I know we charge flu shots out of it too. But those are the majority, the major revenue and expense items out of there. So we will be below our target of 100% of next year's claims because of how high the claims came in this year. So I'm not terribly concerned about it. I wouldn't recommend any action at this point. We still should end up with 1.6 million, and we're continuing to fund it through employee withholdings and employer chargeback to the departments. But just, I wanted you all to be aware of that. And then we did have 3 individuals exceed the stop loss limit this year, which I kind of explained what self-insurance pay is down at the bottom, but we had some high claims this year is why our claims were higher. So, but then I did send out a survey, and this was kind of born out of the conversation that Alan and I had with the unions and with Scott Walsh from Savage about the increase in premiums and then the HSA contribution. So if you look back on the first page, the HSA contribution for single is about the same as their annual withholding, the $1,620. $1,620 for HSA single contribution, and then $1,672 annually for the employee premium. So that's kind of where this survey started, and then so I sent it out to everybody that was on the policy, and the results came back actually in the same exact order that the questions were. So I reviewed the results, and we had like 50 some take the survey. So about half the employees took it, 52. About half of the employees that are on the policy took their survey. I was surprised at the results. The number one choice was to keep it the same, keep the premiums as calculated and keep the HSA as calculated, and not apply, not offset the HSA contributions against the premiums. But
So essentially meaning whatever your new calculated payment was, keep it that.
yeah,
Because, so, I mean, I guess what I hear from that, the responses to that survey is they just don't really want any changes to how the things are done.
well,
If it increases, fine.
well, and the word on the street is, through the rumor mill, is that they are worried if they were to select that option, then the city will forever take away the HSA contribution. So take that with however you want, but that was what I had heard from several different people, so.
Yeah. Okay.
And then the last part, which, by the way, I did the survey through OpenGov. which is really
That's
exciting.
Yeah,
And I did provide the survey, the narrative that I put out there. I did state that this, oh, I put it somewhere. Just that it does not obligate, the results of the survey does not obligate council in any way. And, I just wanted to put that disclaimer out there.
yeah, we're
So,
just trying to get
Yeah,
an idea of what people want. Yeah.
yep.
Well, you pulled 100% and 52% responded, and
Yeah, about half. Like I
Yeah.
said, there is over 106, but,
Sure.
I mean, I could reach back out if you guys were interested in more results, but, to see.
Some of that could have been people.
It's a pretty high response. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, I think well, I don't know what the other half are thinking, but they had an opportunity to weigh in on it.
Yeah.
And-
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. And then just the last little bucket is, self-insured plan, who pays? Because people still are confused about how this works. So the city is the insurance company up to $125,000. So I broke it out. The employee pays the first portion of the deductible, and then anything in between the deductible, and then the $125,000 is the city. Like, we literally receive bills, electronic bills every 2 weeks, and we pay up to $125,000. And then after that, it's the stop loss carrier, which is the three I mentioned, 3 employees or their family members exceeded that $125,000, and then there was a fourth that was really close, so. So then it was just the survey, I was laid out, and that's all I had for wages and benefits.
Looks good.
Okay, thanks.
and so, I mean, this is like, the city is the first I've ever heard of people self-insure, like it kind of insuring themselves. I mean, I'd never heard of that before.
Yeah, so a traditional plan is fully insured, like, you go out to the broker and they say, okay, your premium's gonna be, $1,000 a month.
Right.
And it's fixed. But this is all, it's based on estimated claims, which is, like I said, it's a little scary. It's a little unnerving for the employee too. It's even, I was a little anxious even calculating it, like, oh, what is it gonna be this time?
Well,
you know?
because there's a lot of fluctuation.
There's a lot,
right,
yeah.
that can
because-
happen.
Exactly, because, so our estimated claims are 2.4 million, maybe they'll only end up being 2 million next year. So then we'll have the same up and down potentially, so.
Which, I mean, so it seems like it's higher, it feels like higher risk. So does that also mean that it's usually like, do we save versus going kind of more standard route?
So we do, and this has been a conversation, we do only based on my research. I haven't seen actual numbers.
Yeah.
So this has been like a hot topic for many years with the union. And I spoke to our Savage representative. Can you just give us like what a fully insured number would look like? So then we can show staff black and white, this is what it would truly
Right.
cost. I believe that would be less expensive for the employee, but more expensive for the employer, which obviously the employer contributes to wages and everything else and all of our other expenses. So as a total, it would be more expensive.
Okay. So they've just said that it's more expensive and not given the numbers that we
Yeah.
asked for.
Yeah, so I would like to follow, I asked them if they could just give us a number, and they said, well, the providers wouldn't be very apt to just provide a scenario just for funsies, essentially.
Oh,
So maybe in the spring, we can follow up with them again. I would be happy to do that.
so if it's being more seriously considered, they would be more apt to
It sounded like
provide
it.
fund or numbers?
Yeah. I do not believe.
Don't think that's kind of the first step to being seriously considered,
Yeah.
is having an idea.
Yeah, what I say, as an exercise to do that, because I don't believe the numbers would come in favorably because of our group size, but we don't know for sure. So we
Right.
could certainly look at those numbers. But for a group our size, a self-insured plan makes sense. I did do another survey out to other entities. I wanted to see what they had, if they'd gotten some renewals back for 26 to see what they were seeing. I didn't get many results that were applicable. Like a lot of entities with like fewer than 10 employees responded, so it wasn't really that helpful. It wasn't
Yeah,
really-
nowhere close to us.
Because
Yeah.
I was asking, like, are you fully insured or self-insured? Like, what kind of increases have you seen? Do you contribute to the HSA? How do you calculate your premiums? Like, those sort of questions. And I didn't, the last time I checked, I only had like 6 results, and only half of them were valuable. But, yeah, so. I know, and the other thing is our rates, they did go up like 29%, I think was the percentage, so, because the claims, so,
The health insurance rates?
yeah.
So is that for the same reasons that like everyone's rates are going up or going to be going up next year?
As far as the, like, just.
Like you said
cost
that
of
our-
health insurance?
Yeah, I assume
Well, I think it's twofold. It's our claims and then just the cost of.
health insurance,
Yeah.
yeah. 'Cause it's now open enrollment season. I haven't wanted to look at what the numbers are just based on
Yeah.
the rumors yet. Yeah, that's why I haven't.
Actually just feel better. Product.
No, it's across the board. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so I had another question too, about I needed to find, the 27 pays. So I want to try to understand this a little better. So, like, talking to more people about this and everything, like, is it a matter, like, we have the 27, is it the 27 pays in 2026 based on how essentially the pays are falling on the calendar? Because I feel like there's different ways this can be viewed. So at first, when I was hearing about this, it kind of seemed like people were getting an extra pay. But after having more conversations about it, it only seems like they're getting an extra pay because of how the calendar is, and that there's actually more hours being included in that time frame as well, along with so I guess essentially it's like, yes, there might be another pay, but because of how the calendar falls, there's also more time included on it that people are working, which so essentially I see it as they're getting paid for what's been worked. It's just kind of for the city funding it, the way the calendar falls, it's unfortunate, I guess is one way to say it, or it costs more.
Well,
Is
yeah,
that-
it's a budgetary impact for sure.
Yeah.
I do believe it's truly an extra pay. It's based on the number of days in the year, and like I said, every 7 years, it's an extra pay. So traditionally, it's 26 pays, and then with leap year or whatever, it's a 27 pay that hits.
I've worked many jobs where I would circle all the paydays, and there was a couple, I think once every 7 years or something like that. It comes down to that, you get the extra pay.
Yeah.
But you're not working any more hours. It's just where that first pay of the year probably falls on the first or second.
Yeah, I didn't.
Yeah, on the
Yeah.
calendar,
Yeah.
essentially.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I guess I'm wondering, I mean, is it a matter of, did less get paid in 2025? And then it got pushed to 2026?
Nope.
No, it's just,
Just an extra pay period.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it is addressed in, the ordinances, it's addressed in the union contracts. It is just a substantial financial hit. And-
So whereas we thought it was something we might need to make a decision on, it's just something where you need to budget.
Well,
Around.
the flexibility and where a decision could be made, and it would certainly be detrimental to employees, is those in the management ordinance and the director's ordinance is really the only place you have flexibility. Because the administrative assistant support ordinance, they're like hourly. So it's really the people that are salaried.
Salary.
So that's where the flexibility, and the last or when we spoke about it last, I think the numbers were 30,000, 150,000 or so that 27th pay costs for those individuals.
Didn't we say it was like, it would impact, was it like 31 people? Am I remembering
Yeah.
that? Is that what that was from?
That sounds about right, yeah. But, so that's the flexibility, because there really is no flexibility in any of the union contracts.
Right.
Same thing, with raises, there's nothing that we can do with the union contracts. I'm just, until we get development secured, like Metropolitan Holdings, for example, that'll be truly impactful. I'm just concerned about the long game here and the sustainability of the wages, so. And specifically with the new hires too, which, not disputing that, certainly many of those positions are needed.
Yeah.
So an option could be maybe to hold off on some of those hires until we get the development a little more underway and we start seeing some revenue from that, but.
Okay. Gabe or Josh, do you have any more questions on that?
No, I understand it fully.
Yep.
Okay.
We don't need to dwell on it anymore. I understand it fully. We can't change, we can't change anything because of the employee's handbook, but if we did, it would impact them even more so financially. So,
It would, especially with the increase in premiums, it would certainly be, like,
well, I
it's
was talking about
detrimental.
the 27th pay period, but I'm good with what we've talked about.
So we'll
Moving forward.
essentially just need to plan for this with the budget and like the projected budget. Is that, I
Yeah.
mean, because like you said, if, I don't know where Metropolitan is, I've gotten no updates whatsoever. Seeing where, I mean, things like that can take years and years and years.
Yeah, and that, that's definitely my concern, because wages will only continue to rise.
Yeah, okay. Okay, well, that's a good update. Thank you, Chelsea. Thanks.
I believe 27.
Did the city know that to tell us
I had heard that.
that they bought the land?
I had heard that from somebody, I don't know who,
Oh.
but.
Yeah.
I never got told. I don't read real estate transfers.
And
I'm too busy running kids around. I don't know.
and I don't know, for some reason, 2027 is ringing a bell where they could potentially be,
Right.
No, they're
Right.
going to put in foundations this winter yet.
so as far as like occupancy, do we think in 27?
Oh, you're saying like opening in 27? Is that what? Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably.
Okay, so now they own the land, they can start building. Yeah. Yeah, well, we get an update on that hopefully too. Okay, so next item on the agenda is discussion of meter replacements.
So just to clarify, we want to keep HSA contributions the same and stipends the same?
Yeah, I mean, if that's what our employees like came back with, if they're,
Okay.
yeah, I think we should follow that. I mean, do you guys agree? Gabe and Josh? If
Didn't,
that's what, like, go move forward based on what the survey results were for?
Didn't Gabe say you want to kind of wait for a couple more surveys to
No,
come back?
no, I said it was put out there, 52% responded, the others either thought it was okay or didn't have an input. I think you did your due diligence.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm good with it.
Yeah.
Thanks.
It's the beauty of a survey, or asking them, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. As long as that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So, I mean, I love your overview of kind of like the history of this. I don't know if you, if we, want to read it to kind of give everyone an idea, or if you just can kind of do an overview of kind of your process, not have to read exactly like you've done with everything else in that.
For the
Just kind of the background, or no, the meter replacement.
Water meter.
Oh,
For
okay,
that
sorry.
first page, just kind of
Yep.
the background. I thought that was very important and helpful.
Thank you.
Because I didn't see, like, I did not remember or necessarily know, because I was not here in 2013, that's when the meters were installed,
Yeah. So this was a collaborative compilation between Service Director Dustin, and then John Kelly, Utility Billing is here as well. Been a concern for a while as far as the service that we are receiving. You never know what the day will bring. Sometimes the meters, will stop reading, we'll get them back online. There's a lot of very manual work, which Dustin's actually provided analysis here too. So they visited on site the particular meter program and meter reading program that we are all interested in. They're amazing. I worked with them previously, night and day between our current provider.
And just to clarify, the current provider is the Mueller that everyone has heard about in the news and everything else. Just wanted to,
Yeah,
Right.
Quick question. When
the whole
you say,
country has heard about.
yeah.
when you say the meters aren't reading correctly, are you saying
Well,
that they're not
I don't see
reading
that they're
correctly, or
not
the
reading.
telemetry is
No,
not?
it's not that
connecting?
they're incorrectly reading, they're just decide sometimes not to transmit the read, or.
So it's a
the-
telemetry problem.
Yeah, the repeater needs fixed. They had an update and it drained some batteries, like.
It's the
just-
communications part of it.
Yeah, it's the communication.
Yeah.
It's not the actual meter reading
Right.
incorrectly at all. It's the communication, the AMI system. But I'll turn it over to Dustin here in a second. But like I said, I've worked with Ferguson and Master Meter and Harmony. So Master Meter is the meter. I'm looking at Dustin.
Yep.
Harmony is the meter reading system.
Yes.
Yes, which communicates beautifully with BSNA, our utility billing provider. They also include the water consumption portal for residents, not an extra charge, which right now we're paying Aquahawk an extra charge of, it's pretty substantial, like $1,200 a month extra. So we will lose some expenses going to the system too, but anyway.
Why did that ever change? Because like, I remember I could look up I thought I
Yeah.
remembered being able to look up my consumption. And then there was this period where I could not.
They
And I
stopped
couldn't
because
get.
they stopped providing the service. So
Yeah.
that's the history is in 2013, they sold the city on a lot of services and they've slowly have just taken those away. But
Okay, because I always wondered that. And like, why am I now having to sign up for Aquahawk? You know, because,
yeah.
okay, thanks.
Yep.
I guess to add more to what Jennifer said about Mueller, it was before my time, I've been here 4 years now. When the previous management approached Mueller into looking into the system, it was, top line back then, was a great system, with having the user portal, which was included, which is huge. And then, obviously, once they did away with that, was one of the first start of the shortfalls with them. And then, since I've been here in my 4-year tenure, they have since switched the Mueller system, which is what we use as the providers for day-to-day operations. They switched the name from Mueller to Centrac, which didn't really, throw a lot of red flags at that time. And then up here in the last couple of years, they have now switched. They've gotten rid of, I would say probably, I think it was right around 60 to 70% of their employees at Mueller, of who we always had our day-to-day contact with. So if we had troubles, it's quick phone call, they'd get us back up and running. Well, now it's a real process with them losing that amount of numbers. We have to send tickets, and we're talking days before we get response back, which some of these are very critical meters, which Jennifer said, they read correctly. Everything works fine. As far as the meter calculating the gallons used, it's reporting in to us. So there'll be days and weeks on end we're not getting readings from some of our big users, which is very critical for billing purposes and for our purposes as well. Excuse me. And then they report it back to us. They switch to like all our purchasing. They boarded Waterworks on with them now. So we have to do everything through them. So even any of our problems, our questions, concerns, they go through Waterworks. Then they go back to Mueller and team up with them. And then I know it's kind of been some rumor here in the last couple of weeks. I've heard from a couple of valuable resources that they are potentially doing away with the AMI system, which is what we are, and that's Mueller I'm referring to. We are the advanced meter infrastructure, which is, in a nutshell, we're a radio read. And if they obviously do away with that system December, we're pretty much, we're done for. I mean,
I was going to say, what does it mean do away with it? They're just not going to deal with it anymore?
yeah, I think they're either going to try to push more of their cellular, which is not the best thing out there, but that's what I think easier for them, for what resources they have. AMI is very, I think, cost effective on it's very expensive for them they got to have a lot of team members and to maintain these systems. And we're starting to see a lot of issues with them not knowing how to update, because, you know, it's kind of like your cell phones. You got to update these systems to keep them going on the right track. Well, they'll do test dates, and they'll push 50 updates through, and the last few have been disastrous. They have burned up they call them nodes, which is the battery on the meters. They completely burn them up. Meter still works fine, we just can't get the reads in. So then, in return, we have to send employees out to the houses to replace them. So not only are we inconveniencing the citizens by coming out and trying to schedule that, but we're wasting valuable time that we could be doing in other departments. And then also, they have unfortunately burned up a couple of our collectors in the years past, which are our main hub. So the meters, those nodes / batteries report into that collector. Collector reports into our main tower. If that collector's down, which we have 3 of them total in the city, so it does absorb a lot of the readings. When one goes down like that, we're dead in the water with getting readings for billing and anything for if we know anything's going on. And it's been months. Far as I guess touching base on the master meter, done a lot of homework, a lot of research into a new company. You know, I've been in this industry for 22 years now, so I've got some good sources to go out and reach to, and did a lot of site visits. But very pleased with. We've actually been running master meters. A lot of our commercial ones, we have kind of different brands out there we can use that do work into it. We've been running master meter for about 3 years. Probably have 30 to 40 in the system currently, and they've been fantastic. We did have one quick little hiccup with them, and they fixed it instantly like that. And, you know, we're going to have that, you know, regardless of who we're with.
So who was the reporting person? Like if we've had the master meter, like Jennifer was saying, the reading system is Harmony. Is that how it works for those master meters? That is their reading system Harmony then?
Yeah, so that is. Harmony's
Okay.
Relinquished, they're with master meter.
Okay.
So that's what their like user portal is for, and then for our services it's all the same.
Okay.
As far as that aspect goes, but yes, that all is through Harmony with master meter.
Yeah, Justin?
Yep.
Is Ferguson,
It's
you've
Dustin.
been, I'm sorry, Dustin. Is Ferguson, there's not a lot of companies out there doing this. Are there more companies to get quotes from?
There is quite a few other companies out there. And I guess as far as, it's kind of like automotive industry, there's a lot out there. But this is a little more, I guess, a little more radical when it comes to the different brands. Some just won't work with our system.
Yeah, that's what, yeah, you're taking that into,
Yeah, we took those in
Okay.
consideration. And obviously I reached out to about most of them. And also a lot of the sales reps stop in our office quite frequently to keep us up to date with what's going on them. You know, there's a big range because smaller cities do drive-by systems because it's quicker, it's cheaper, it's effective for them. Obviously, it doesn't work for us.
What did we do before? So I wanted to ask, like, because it wasn't always remote read.
Right.
Someone came by. Was it the drive-by?
Yeah, no, they actually had to do manual reads.
Okay, that's what I thought it was.
Yeah, they had to
Okay.
physically walk up to each house. They used to have the meter reads on the outside of the house.
Okay.
They'd have to write them down, so.
So we went straight from that to the remote.
Yep.
Never did the drive.
Never did the
Okay.
drive-by,
Okay,
so.
thank you. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
then I have a question for Alan. Do we have to bid this out, Alan? And is this an emergency?
They are members of Sourcewell.
Sorry?
They are members of Sourcewell, is that right? Justin, do you recall?
I think so.
Yeah.
I'd have to look that up.
So it's cooperative purchasing, but go ahead.
That was my question. Did we have to bid this out?
Yeah, if it's under Sourcewell, I think that's something we can do without bidding, but we'll just have to look at that further.
Okay. I just want to make sure we don't catch a hiccup in between.
Well, I'm worried because, so you said like months. I remember an email coming through. We tried to get this on finance back in June to talk about. But now I heard you say there's a big worry about December. And like, you know, I knew like back in June, there was a worry that they might go bankrupt or something might happen and we would be left to scramble. And now it's like, I don't think I realized it end of year date. So I guess what does it look like if they would stop in December? We have not done anything. We've not made a switch over. But what does that look like for us?
I guess far as for distribution side and a little bit of the billing side, if they eliminate the AMI system, we no longer will get any single reads in. So it would basically, our guys would have to drive to every single house to manually pull a read.
Which would essentially be impossible
Which
with
would be
staffing,
absolutely
so.
Is it even on the outside of our house anymore?
No, because we can, if we're close to it, we can pull a read from it.
Oh, okay.
From an iPad.
Okay, so you don't have to go inside, because I see you like making appointments and,
Correct. But it all determines on if they proceed with shutting down the AMI systems, how far they go to shutting them down. I mean, they could kill the batteries if they really wanted to. Just kind of one other thing, as we've been kind of, moving along with this process and talking with them and how things have changed. Another thing that kind of I thought was alarming to me was, just got a report Monday, I seen that the CEO of Mueller sold $35 million in his own stock in the brand, and so did his wife. So that was another thing that kind of threw a red flag that
Right.
is kind of concerning.
So 6 months ago, we felt this was urgent, and it was tabled. But it's urgent even more so, I think, now, like I said, not only from a reporting aspect. Reporting is hit or miss. John can attest to that. Some days, like, reports will just disappear. He can't pull the information that he needs to do his job, but it's the service not promised and then going downhill very quickly. But it's also it is the age of the meters too. So it's not, they are nearing end of life, and that varies based on literally the amount of water that's going through the meter. But it's also that. So there's three main parts, and then obviously the continuance of service and the ability to pull reads.
well, so that was the other thing I thought was interesting in the background. It says useful life of meters, 12 to 15 years. And if this happened in 2013, I mean, 12 years is 2025.
Yeah.
So 2025 to 2028. Okay, so with the new system, so say, master meter, it happened, we went with master meter in Harmony. So then it would involve, what would that involve? Obviously, each meter would have to be changed out?
Yeah, so as Master Meters has multiple companies that they do and that was a lot of my other questions with the other municipalities that either visited or made phone calls to. How was that process? Because that always can be very daunting on us
Right.
and challenging. And they all reported really good feedback on that aspect of it. So that did make it reassuring. And we basically sit down once everything's kind of signed. If we move forward, they set basically an end date, because obviously they don't want to have this open PO for 2 years waiting on people to respond, because we're going to have people that just flat out won't respond, or houses are vacant. So they said roughly about 6 months process from the time they hit ground, have product here, to the time they're going to be pulling out and have them all changed. So that
Right.
they handle all the, just kind of like the old process, they handle contacting every single resident. They have the company go in, they change everything out. So we were we'll be very minimal hands-on with it, which is good for us.
Yeah.
We will have to do some here and there, but it's very, very minimal. And
So that's included in this quote,
correct.
essentially?
Yep,
Yeah,
yeah. That
okay.
quote covers all installation, all startup. They'll come in here, do training with billing with us.
Did you say 6 months? I'm sorry.
Roughly, yeah.
Okay, I
It'll be
thought that's
kind of, it would be kind of decided on once they kind of have product, and he just roughly estimated it'd be a 6-month process.
Dustin, what could be the start date of that?
I know it's when we talked about potentially moving forward, just kind of next year, as we're projected, like we're in a huge hurry with it, but we're looking at it. We talked if we could get approved in budget for next year, he was looking like springtime and be done by fall time of 2026.
Well, I was just concerned about the other company who's doing it now. They just might decide next week they're done.
You're right.
Right.
Right. And obviously that's been a lot of our concerns. Jennifer and Matt and I all have had a lot of
Yeah.
talks, kind of, what if it does
So
happen?
if that happens, is there a patch for us to keep things incoming rather? To keep-
Going around to the houses, right?
Yeah.
That's it?
Ultimately,
Okay.
we're kind of go back to almost what's scary. Last time when they did this big
Estimate.
battery change out, we were doing estimates.
Yeah, I remember
And,
that.
and that's obviously
Okay.
scary for us and the citizens. But if we can be proactive and get a game plan, hopefully going sooner than
Yeah, I-
later, to
Yeah.
prevent this
I
headache.
think,
We don't want to get those estimates again. I mean,
yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So John and I spoke about the what-if scenario, and I mean, that would be horrible to estimate 6,500 meters. Obviously, our software, we have good data with BSNA, so our software allows us to estimate, but it's certainly not ideal as people, their consumption habits change, people move in, move out. We all remember how it was last time to catch up on all that. Our backup, our contingency would be to establish a database where residents could enter in a read. Again, not ideal, but so then we can have some actuals, but
which I feel like I've had that is it with gas? Like they'll do estimates, and then you'll get a thing in the mail saying, Rick's shaking his head, like saying, enter your reading, and I'll go down and check and put it in, and then it'll get adjusted accordingly. So it'd be something like that.
as a worst case scenario.
Right, yeah, not ideal, but that is how it would work,
Yeah.
essentially.
And then to speak to Dustin's point about the third party installing the meters, like I said, I have experience with this company in Swanton, and they did a fantastic job. It was a database, I looked at it daily. They took pictures of the meter, the meter reading as well. So it was actually kind of helpful for materials going into the meter too. But if there was ever a question of if, a read was entered wrong, or if a outdoor use meter was switched with indoor use meter, that sort of thing, we could always go back to that database and look at it.
Excuse me, I have to go, but Alan, I'm going to call in, and you can ring me in here. Thank you.
Okay, yep.
I guess
Thank you
to
very
add-
much, Dustin. Good
Yeah,
good
thank you.
information.
And add
So-
more to Jennifer's, sorry, about
No, go ahead.
so we're also in a battle, not a battle, but a job, big task with the EPA, do a.
Lead replacement?
Yeah, well, it's a slim report also. So
Okay.
service line material, inspection
Yeah.
material. So that basically we could kill two birds with one stone. With
Oh.
that, because we got to have that report done by 2027. With that company coming in, they can send us all the reports daily. They do weekly, I think. And we could sit down and, get our sheet updated as well. So that'd be absolutely huge.
So that would be like,
for that.
I remember we put out some materials not too long ago. I mean, when Eric and I did that water thing, and I did the test. Like I took a picture. You did like a scratch test, that
Yep,
thing,
yep,
and sent it
that's
in.
exactly it,
Okay,
yep.
so you guys, that could essentially get done at the same time that all this.
For sure, and that's a
So
huge relief.
it would help fulfill that. Okay, well that's good to know. And it would be that company doing it versus,
Yeah, and they're well photo documented, and we get to use that user portal that the company they have. So it's nice, we can always go back, refer to it, because we do tag and seal our meters here as well, just to prevent, any kind of fraud or anything of that sort. So if we ever get on a job site and the tag and seal is removed, we can go back, refer to that photo that when that company installed it like it was, installed, so.
okay. And I feel like we've had issue before because I've heard that talked about how it's sealed, which
Yeah.
was nothing ever. John, did you want to say something? Can you come up here if you do, since we're recording? Now you don't want to say? Okay. Josh, do you have any kind of follow-up questions? I guess, overall, I don't see how we have an option. It just doesn't seem like it. Because the alternative to it may be going all south very quickly. When we could have had an opportunity to be proactive seems, I just can't wrap my head around that, I guess. And if the past few years have taught us anything, it's been an obvious decline with Mueller. All the articles and news you see across the country with their issues, and then hearing these reports. Yeah, I know we're not planning on taking any action today, but
Right.
we can still give an idea of whether this shows support that we want to see this,
As you said, I don't think we really have much of an option.
right?
The only question I have is back in June, I think you sent out a an email, and you estimated this would cost about $3 million. On second page of this quotation, it shows two different
Yeah, we would have had
grand
to lock
totals.
in at that point because we lost the tariff. There's extra charge for tariffs now.
So the quote is actually the 3 point.
So that's not, yeah, that, if you notice, that was dated in March, and I had a conversation in March with administration about it at that time, and then tried to get on the finance committee meeting in June, and then now here we are. So we've been aware of this, and we're trying to be proactive. So I think the time is now that we need to move on this. So we can certainly get a new revised quote from Jeff
Yes.
Ferguson. But yeah, I did, in the document, I did save it plus 7% tariffs cost. So that's why there's a difference.
Would they then also give us a mean too? Because it sounded like that was kind of gotten a while back.
Yeah,
too.
yeah, and I had about an hour phone conversation with the Ferguson rep last night about this. For one,
Okay.
to continue honoring this price plus tariffs, because they did have a meter increase price in August, I think it was, and then they're getting ready to have another one in January.
Okay, so this is essentially us still saving because they only added the tariff
Right,
increase,
they only had tariffs. because-
not the other increases that are.
Correct.
Okay.
I think he said it was another 2.5% increase in August that they have decided to eat, I guess, essentially that cost until we decide what route, we're going to go. So they're going to honor this price on here. And then he did say, they're going to try to gift us some stuff, I guess, on like some licensing and some base station stuff. So they're working with their master meter currently. So hopefully we could even get that cost a little lower to try to help absorb some of those tariff charges. So as speaking with him last night on the phone, they were going to meet as a team hopefully this week or so to hopefully get a report back on that.
Well, and I guess so another question I have is, I know in talking about our water fund, we are in a good place with that.
The water fund, yeah, is
Which-
healthy, yes.
Yeah, which
It's healthy.
one of the reasons we need it to be healthy is because things like this come up.
Right, we also have water tower, 2 water tower paintings, which that'll be a couple $1 million too. So I don't want anyone to look at that fund balance in the water fund and think,
We have too much money.
yes, because we don't.
Well, and I want to clarify that water tower painting does not mean the outside
Yeah,
making
it's
it
the
pretty.
inside.
It's the inside making sure it's functional and doesn't rust out. So I just want to make sure to verify that with everyone.
Put a smiley face on it.
Yeah, it's not just, oh, new logo.
Are you going to create that,
No.
Margot?
What's that?
Are you going to create the logo?
I already did that. But, okay, so time frame wise, we just had our last council meeting. We got another one first of the month, or second, or the third Monday. Yeah, it's still November. I mean, could we? Yes, Gabe?
Hey, I have a question for Alan. Alan, did they have to offer any type of bond of service that money down that they don't perform, or is it get in line and sue them like the whole country I heard is doing? Is there no repercussions they have to financially be responsible for?
Are you talking about Mueller?
Yeah.
You can't get
Yeah.
blood out of a tournament. Right.
Yeah, pursuing Mueller is pretty much a lost cause.
He said pursuing Mueller